Welcome everyone to this webinar. As Lisa says, I'm the chair of the student support group, and one of the topics I love most is just this one. This is a specific one related to how can we give a good support to our prospective and new students. So as you can find, it is a special webinar because we count on 5 different universities' presentations. Unfortunately, any one of my colleagues can be here today with me because of some personal or professional reasons of the last hours, but they have sent their videos. So from this 5, we are going to watch just 3 of the videos, and we are going to have the opportunity to have on the website the rest of the videos, and of course, the whole webinar will be there. The main issues we would like to talk about are related to these questions, but we can say that the best of the main topic is, well, we should give a good support to our prospective and new students, but we want to give this in a very innovative and creative way, mediated by technologies, because we are distance education universities with online tools too. So when I thought about what can we talk about, I thought about real institutional experiences in distance education universities with a long tradition. And I asked my colleagues and friends all over the world, because as you can see, this is an international webinar in which we have also asked to colleagues from Latin America to take to participate in the webinar. So we're going to have the presentations on the one hand of the Universidad Aberta de Portugal with my friend and colleague Antonio Teixeira. He's a very well-known professional in the area of distance education, very well-known in EADTU, and he has also been in charge, the president of EDEN, and his colleague Lina Morgado. They are not going to be here today. We have the video, but I was very much aware that it was important to know a little bit more about what they do. Also, I found out something very interesting with Marion Stevens from the Open Universiteit from the Netherlands, because I found out on the website, as I'm going to explain, a very interesting experience well, she launched. So we are going to talk about that. Also, from the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, we have Magdalena Cruz. She's the Vice Chancellor of Research and Innovation in UAPA. It's the Distance Education University for Adults in Dominican Republic. It's a very active university. And we all three, UNED, Universidad Aberta, and also UAPA, we belong to the organization that is equivalent to the EADTU in Europe, but in Iberoamerica. It's ISAT. So we have been working together in many things and projects in the past. And also I have we have Mehmet Firat, who is member of the student support group too, and from the Anadolu University. So as you can see on the map, we are going to have a branch, a whole fan of possibilities to see what institutions are doing. The beginning is, we all know, and Norman Simpson told us in a previous webinar, that distance education universities have a dropout rates that are very high, between 30% and 40%. For instance, in the Open University UK or UNED Spain. But the thing is that the highest rates of dropout occur during the first year. Even when students, the dropout occurs when the students haven't presented to the first exam. So I mean, it's just at the very beginning. So that's why we think the first year and first year actions are very relevant. Why? Because as students, we all know that you can get lost really in this labyrinthical forest and jungle of information we give them through our websites, and maybe sometimes not very clear information, and in a new modality, so they really can get lost if we don't help them. So what do new students need in distance education and online education? In a recent research and review I did, I found out that there were three action lines, three main action lines that experts say are relevant. First one is to work on information and orientation to the new student, prospective and new students. Then communication and socialization between the students and the community, the academic community, and organization and training. I'm going to explain a little bit about that. Clear information and orientation about many things they need, about the institution, the methodology, the syllabus, the resources, how to work with technical requirements. So a lot of things we have to give them information and orientation about. Then it is very relevant. They need to feel they belong to the university, although they are at distance. They belong to a community, and they need to know to whom they can apply or make questions or well, when they have troubles or problems. So we need to establish good communication channels between the staff, the administrative staff, peer-to-peer, etc. We have to facilitate these communication networks. And finally, we have to give our new students training opportunities to become a good student at distance. So we have to train them for becoming distance and online learners. Finally, when we think about this in terms of an institutional approach, it should have three characteristics. First, to be integral, comprehensive, holistic approach from the whole institution. I think this is very relevant. Then procedural, along the first year, not just at the beginning. The help should be all along the first year, and then we have to approach that under the conception of a networked learning or networks that we have to develop. So really, distance education institutions show a genuine concern about how to support their new students. We do work on that. We are worried about that. That's very briefly, I would like to tell you that back in time in 2014, in the conference that took place in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil of the IESA, the Association of Distance Education Universities in Ibero-America, we had a first international panel with David Wilson from the Open UK, Masako Masuda from Federation de Brazil, Magdalena Cruz UAPA, with me from part of the UNED, about dropout and about student support in the first year. And that was the beginning of an idea of publishing a book that was edited in July on innovative keys to prevent dropout in open and distance education, with 8 experiences from Latin America, including Dominican Republic, also UNAM from Mexico, for instance, there's from Brazil, Costa Rica, distance education universities with a long tradition, and also UNED, Aberta de Portugal, and Anadolu from Turkey. And we wrote down this this book that was presented in IESA conference in Madrid last July. And one innovative issue I think we should do with many of our books was to create a website for the book. And this website contains each chapter. Each chapter is open, and it has its own video presentation. So, well, this is a kind of where we can do with these things we are talking about, all these issues we talk in the Empower. Because I think it's interesting to have this combination of text and videos. Well, so now after this presentation, I would like to start with the first one. Let me start with the experience of UNED, because I think it's a kind of integral presentation of what an institution can do. And well, we will continue with the rest of the videos. I will be introducing each of them. So we are going to listen and to watch to this first video.
Hello, I am Ángeles Sánchez-Elvira Paniagua from UNED, and I am the chair of the Student Support Group in the Empower project. This presentation belongs to a webinar on induction programs in distance education university. So what we do with our newest students, how we give support to these newest students in our institutions. I'm going to talk about how we designed and developed our own UNED induction plan that started something like, 11 years ago or around 2005. So the first idea I want to transmit is that we thought that the induction plan should not be something just related to give our own newest students a warm welcome. So it should be more than a warm welcome. So taking this idea related to a revision, a review on what experts say about induction plans, we thought that our own UNED induction plan should have this integral institutional approach. I mean, a comprehensive approach that means that everyone in the institution should take into account that they should work for the induction plan. Send a procedural approach. I mean, it's not just to, as I said, to give a warm welcome to our newest students, but to support them all along the first year. This year that is so relevant for preventing dropout and to promote retention. And third, it is very important to work under a networked learning approach. I mean, our students should feel that they belong to the institution, that they are connected to other peers, to their academic staff, to the administrative staff, so that they work really in a network that is functioning and that they are not alone. Also, I thought that it was very relevant to take into account that self-regulated learning, as the research says, is at the main core of a student's success. So we had to work on how to promote, how to train self-regulated learning, and if we could join this perspective or put this perspective at the main core of our induction plan. So remember that the self-regulated learning cycle implies that students should know how to plan themselves, how to establish their goals, their main objectives, how to plan in activities and timing, how to retrieve previous knowledge that is required for their studies. So there is a planning first step that is very relevant. Then there is a second relevant stage that is implementation. I mean, if you think that you have to do a task, are you prepared to develop these strategies, the learning strategies that are relevant for this specific task? And can you cope with emotional control? Can you have efficient time management? Can you monitor your own yourself? So this is a second very relevant stage in self-regulated learning. And the third one is, well, are you capable to evaluate yourself, to establish improvement approaches to your own work? So, well, with that might be our framework for developing an appropriate induction plan for our own institution. So that's the main idea we start working on. A plan of all, I mean, the whole institution should work on that. I don't mean that we have managed to do this in the whole objectives, but we have worked on that. So a plan of all to reach all our students, because students have many differences between them. So we have to give them different ways of helping them and or giving them support during their first year. So the main objective was to promote autonomous and self-regulated learning. And thinking about this cycle of the self-regulated learning, we thought, well, to plan themselves, what our students need is to receive a very clear and precise and good information and orientation at the beginning, when they are prospective students and when they are, in the first days or the first month in the institution. Also, thinking about the second stage of the self-regulated learning cycle, we thought, well, if you need to develop some learning strategies. Well, students do need to have training, and they might need some help in developing the more appropriate strategies for learning at distance. And third, if we have to monitorize yourself and you have to self-assess yourself and to improve for the future, you need to be monitorized. So to do this kind of follow-up during the first year is something we have worked on very much. But what is the problem? Well, along the years, in our undergraduate courses, we have more than 60,000 new students each year. And we all know that more or less between 30 or 40% may be at high risk of dropping out. So we had to think about ideas for working with all of them. This is our main actions. I'm going to explain them just very briefly. Each of us in the first stage of information orientation, the second of training, and the third one about follow-up, mentoring, and intervention. So what we did was a whole approach to these areas, and well, we had worked very, very hard with different types of organisms in the institution that are very relevant in terms of giving students support, such as the Institute of Distance Education, such as the Center of Orientation of Students, and also because we also have face-to-face induction actions, our local centers all over the country. So we started working all together, and we still are doing like that. So let's see each stage very briefly. The first stage is, well, the information and orientation, first stage. So prospective students do need information of high quality, but they can get lost in this forest of information we have on the website. So what we did was to develop an induction general website where our students are guided through just the very beginning, all the information they might need to be registered. So we guide them, so they don't have to be looking in another areas of the website, because they have their own website. Faculties such as mine, psychology faculty, has also developed complementary websites with information that is relevant for their own students. And well, students' attention services also are very much committed with this area of this stage of the induction plan. And finally, we work very hard with what we call students' guides, the first part that is open on the website, and that should give under a standard and homogenized perspective of 13 points, the main issues, the main information of each subject. So the whole programs of the university give this information to prospective students. Then we also have the second part of the guide, the student guide, which is the more didactic guide that is in the virtual course. But I mean, we try to give them a very good information. On the second stage training, we thought that we should develop informal and formal courses to train our students to become a good student in our institution. That is to be successfully integrated in the institution, developing those competences that are required for distance education, for instance, and also to level their previous knowledge, because many of them can reach the institution, reach their courses without having an appropriate level. So what we did is we developed open courses in UNED, in what the open courseware, such as leveling courses like maths, physics, or biology, and statistics, etc. So those subjects that might put students at higher risk because they are more difficult. And also the development of generic competences courses such as self-regulated learning, informational competences, or teamwork, etc. But in 2012, we started with MOOCs. So part of this were developed in MOOCs, such as the basic digital competences, learning and teaching English, and so on. Then we thought about, well, if we have our newest students, they are already registered, what can we offer to them to develop those strategies they need, those competences for being self-regulated learners, and to know how to move, how to behave in our campus, for instance. So we developed the UNED First Steps. There is a free 1-month online course to join UNED successfully, and in 12 steps. So this brief course is like an emergency kit for new students, and it has tutoring but automatic assessment, because thousands of students can take this course. And it gives 1 ECTS. But then going further, we developed a course, a 3-month course on self-regulated learning development, with tutoring in small groups and 3 ECTS. There is a much more focused course on self-regulated learning that our students can take. So in this perspective, students can take different types of open and more formal courses to become a good students in our institution. For instance, in the UNED First Steps, when we ask our students, would you recommend this course for all new students, you can see that 66% said, well, completely, and 29% they said quite a lot because they think it is very useful for them. On the third stage, the final stage, we thought, well, not only we have to train, but we have to monitorize them, follow up them, maybe help them if they have problems. So one of the more innovative actions we developed and that we have now are induction virtual communities. So each new student is registered in the induction virtual community of their own faculty. So there they share with the other peers the same problems, because all of them are new, and we can guide them, we can pick information about them, we can give them news or attention to something, we can have them there to be in contact in a community of learning. Normally there is a coordinator, maybe of the faculty or of the orientation services unit. And we also took into attention that maybe peer-to-peer support could be very helpful, so they can have some mentor. There is attending them in a forum in the virtual space of the community. These communities are thinking to be in contact with students all along the first semester and even more further, but we developed a modular and sequential structure that is being opened all along the first semester, the first months, to be in contact with our students and giving them all the information they might need in this specific stage. For instance, the presentation at the beginning, or preparing exams just very near the first exams in January. So we really think one of the conclusions is that it is very relevant to establish networks of online learning communities with students at distance and in online environments. We are now also looking to the future, in making use of what we call positive technology. There is this technology that might help our students when they have to develop some strategy, when they have to change some behavior that might be well, not good for them, like procrastination. So together with the ESPA, the Applied Series of Psychology of the Faculty of Psychology, we are developing strategies to help our new students to self-diagnose themselves on those characteristics that might be relevant for studying at distance, and then also to give them the opportunity to change to some of these behaviors and to promote good and successful behaviors in a self-apply way. It is very relevant that all this, I mean, all the communities we have been working and we are working on give us the opportunity to do research. And we have been doing research on our own students, on their psychosocial profiles for many years, so we can have a lot of information. And also the institution, the UNED, has very recently launched a Students Dropout Commission to just do research and put in action to prevent dropout. So I think all these things are relevant for a good induction program. As Orban Simpson said in a very recent webinar in our student support group, the best predictor of retention is motivation. So what we want really with our induction plan is to engage our students. That's what we want, because we know that to be engaged is a very powerful way of being or having success in the institutions and in their studies. So we not only want to get them engaged, but we also want to promote the students' well-being, and this is something we are doing research on now. So at the end, it's all about training. So that's what we have to do. We have to train our students during this first year to become, happy and successful students in a distance education or an online environment. So we keep going, and there are so many things still to be done. We have to work very hard also with tutors and with the academic staff of the first year. I think there is a lot to do with that. So, well, let's keep going, and thank you very much for your attention.
Well, that was the first video on the experience of my own university, UNED, when we start developing our induction plan and their institutional approach. And then we are going to watch the video of what the Latin American perspective is doing with the Universidad Abierta para Adultos, Open University for Adults of Dominican Republic, and their own induction plan.
Saludos a todos los que están conectados en este webinar. En nombre de la Universidad Abierta para Adultos UAPA, queremos dar las gracias por la oportunidad de poder presentar nuestras experiencias en el tema de la retención de nuestros participantes en un modelo a distancia. Somos la primera universidad del país y eso nos compromete cada vez más a trabajar por la calidad y la permanencia de nuestros participantes. Aprovecho la ocasión también para poner a ustedes a la disposición la webinar que hemos preparado junto con la doctora Ángeles Sánchez-Elvira, con la finalidad de presentar a toda la teleaudiencia iberoamericana la web libro que hemos preparado sobre nuestra primera experiencia de la publicación conjunta que presentamos a ustedes a través de este webinar. Esperamos que puedan leer los contenidos de esta edición especial que hemos preparado con más de 8 articulistas de Iberoamérica. Son experiencias de buenas prácticas que serán importantes para compartir con todos ustedes.
Distance education institutions must provide high levels of quality in their academic offer in order to ensure a favorable acceptance decree and permanency of those students who have chosen to study according to this model. UAPA University, since its beginning, has assumed a great commitment to the democratization of access to higher education for all the Dominican people. Dropout has been and it's still a huge problem, which represents an object of attention and analysis for UAPA. The university has applied many surveys and research focused on discovering the main causes and giving more appropriate answers to reduce the impact of that phenomenon. Through many investigations, we could identify the satisfaction and the motivation level of the basic cycle student, as well as the difficulty degree that they experience during the academic process. This allowed to set up the implemented strategies by UAPA University to ensure permanency of the student. Number 1, the Alert and Early Intervention System site. The Alert and Early Intervention System, Sistema de Alerta e Intervención Temprana in Spanish site, is a psychoacademic tool which aims to canalize and contribute to find big solutions to the different situations that affect the academic performance of students to avoid precisely the dropout in the institution. The site is applied as a preventive strategy for the student of the university who needs psychoacademic support and orientation with a special focus on students of the basic cycle. Number 2, diversify the efficient means of communication with the students in order to keep them totally informed about the different processes and activities of the university, taking into account the importance of making more efficient the means of communication with the student. A user's manual were designed and put in circulation through the subject of the university orientation, which is studied by all the students in the beginning of their career. Such manual provides all the answers about the institutional and academic processes, about all what is being used constantly by the student along their academic life. Number 3, create appropriate and efficient response mechanisms to the complaint and dissatisfaction shown by the student. The main response to the student's needs is crucial in a distance education model, where the students are not keeping permanently in touch with the teachers in a physical way. For the sake of satisfactory response to the student interrogations, there is a monitoring protocol and complaint channeling with suggestions introduced by the student in the mailboxes. Therefore, it was necessary to set up more mailboxes and distribute the existing one in every place of the university to make sure that all the students' requests are received and treated. Also, the requests received by email, those published in social media and in the virtual campus. Number 4, improve the reception and accompaniment mechanisms of new students during the first 4-month period. Number 5, make easier and proactive the student participation in their university study life to increase their motivation level. In UAPA University, were restructured and activated periodically the careers committees and were simplified all the processes so as they can execute their functions in the best conditions. Number 6, increase the human treatment quality and form an empathy environment through an efficient service culture for the student by the administration and teacher staff. To improve the communication process between teachers and students in UAPA University, many periodic meetings are organized between teachers and students, in which are discussed experiences and strategies about how to establish the empathy between them, especially in the basic cycle. The Department of Basic Cycle has created a virtual forum, Sympathetic Treatment for Students, where all the teachers and students are gathered to talk about many issues related to their expectations, needs, and academic and administrative processes. Thanks to those meetings, we noticed a reduction of 90% in complaints expressed by the students about unsuitable treatment shown by some teachers. Moreover, 60% of the grade revision requests were reduced at the end of every academic period. Number 7, improve the teachers' training as they can assume efficiently their role according to the university policies. In UAPA University were organized intensive training sessions with the teachers in order to discover the competences educational model centered on learning, modelo educativo por competencias centrado en el aprendizaje in Spanish, MECA, adopted by the university and manage efficiently the active teaching strategies for distance education. Many courses about good pedagogical practices were also organized in which almost UAPA teachers could systematize some of their innovative pedagogical practices. They could write proposals to be analyzed by the evaluation committee. After that, the best proposals are presented in different meetings between all the teachers who belong to every department, so they can use them in the classroom and in the virtual campus. Number 8, improve the quality of teachers' performance to reach this purpose. UAPA University has created the Innovation and Pedagogical Management Center, Centro de Innovación y Gestión Pedagógica in Spanish, CINGE. In this center, there are many knowledge and learning managers distributed by areas and specialties, as well as virtual tutors to bring the main follow-up and solution to the different situations faced by the student in their learning process and ensure good communication between them and the teachers in the virtual campus of the university. Function of Innovation and Pedagogical Management Center to ensure the quality of the teaching and learning processes. Evaluate the control and quality of such process. Increase of satisfaction level expressed by the student about the customer service. The student managed very well the different academic and administrative processes. Significant improvement of using the virtual campus with 97% in the first academic period. More students' identification with the different processes of the university in the academic context and also the social interaction. Good communication inside the university community. Significant upgrade of the university service places, library, store, copy center, coffee shops, parking and recreation areas, among others. As a conclusion, we can say that many students who were potentially exposed to drop out because of their social and academic conditions or psychological conditions are still active, and some of them have already graduated.
Well, that was our second institutional video. about how an institution can approach these induction programs. The two next videos, you will be able to find them in our website. This is the presentation of Antonio Moreira Teixeira and Lina Morgado in the UNED Universidad Aberta of Portugal. And they also have a student integration program very much concerned and very much linked to mentoring, e-mentoring. So I think it's quite interesting to go onto our website and look to this video. Also, Anadolu campus with Mehmet Firet show us an example of video introductions to explain the students in the website, well, all about the campus. So this learner wherever you want and whenever you want, explained by videos in the website of Anadolu eCampus. As we have also talked in another webinar, Anadolu is a very large university with nearly 2 million students. So 2 million students. So they need really this kind of approaches. And finally, our last video, it's a quite interesting experience from the Open University of the Netherlands. I was looking around European experiences of good distance education universities, and I found out this work on the study coach program developed by Marion Stevens, and that well, they were awarded for this project that I think is quite interesting. So this is not a kind of holistic institutional program, but it is a very good program on how to develop support actions to new students. I loved this sentence of Marion when she says that there has not been an overall and general start and support study model. We want to help the students on their way to a successful completion of their studies at the Open University, and support services are necessary for the study process, plus they can make learning faster and pleasant. So these things, I think, it's are very relevant for the development of induction programs. And we are going to listen to the video of Marion on how she managed to think in this program and how she developed it. This is a quite long video because it's a 30 minutes video. So we're going to look, because it will be also uploaded in our website. We're going to go along the video, and maybe we're going to stop before arriving at the end to have time to have some discussion and some reflections with you. So, well, we have also here, and I want to give him a warm welcome to Mohamed El Fakhkhari from UAPA University. They just has arrived to the webinar, and I would like to thank him for his presentation, his interesting presentation about UAPA University. So, welcome, Mohamed.
First start with a little presentation of myself. I'm working at the Open University in the Netherlands, and I'm responsible for innovation and projects around support services for our students. A little background information. The Open Universiteit, that's the Dutch name of our university, is a university in distance education, e-learning. It has 7 faculties, and it has some programs for bachelor and master, and some courses, even an MBA program. Around the university, there are study centers in the Netherlands and in Belgium, because we have a cooperation with Belgium, because it is the Dutch language. And there are several study centers in which our students can do their exams but also can get some information and get some guidance and counseling. Well, why do I talk here in this webinar? It's because I got a phone call that we developed something. We developed, you can call it the study coach. That's an open website with support and self-service instruments and tools for our students, but also for prospective students. And when I go further on in my talking, you will see that it is even open and useful information for everybody in the world. Well, that website sounds easy, but it's not, because we are such a good organization. It's not a noble issue. It is more born from a need, because we try to prevent more accidents with our students. Sounds dramatic, but at a certain moment in our organization, it was the dropout percentage of our students was very high. And we had several research reports, and we could see there that students didn't like the first study experience with the OU. They wanted more interaction and they wanted more guidance, but the problem was that were the issues where the board had reduced the budget. So that was a problem what we faced with. And I was working at that moment at a department for support students. And then you face this problem and you try to think about, with your heart, about our students. And what we did then is think we had to change. But that's easy to think, but how are you going to do that? And now came my idea. We had faced, before the budget was reduced, that we had a lot of content and experience within our study centers, with how we could guidance our students. And when you look at this model, I name it by myself the Tibetan drum, because it is not a real model, but it is more a framework for us what the issues are where we can work on with our support services. When you look at it, we follow the study process of a student. He orients himself, he chooses for a course, he chooses for a program, he subscribes, he's going to study, and he's finishing his course, his program, and he does exams. That's a little bit in every single thing, if it is now a bachelor program, if it is a master program, or if it is a loose module, a course, then every time you see those phrases again. And we try to, in every of those stages, we try to pick up some things what we could support students with. And it is general things what we were looking for. We were thinking, we had that content and we had those skills. We had developed that. And what we tried to do is that model, what we had in our mind, try to put that in a website. And then not the boring website which you see all around, you know, that you see a lot of text and a lot of interviews and other boring things. No, we tried to find things what were interactive, that we could get flashy things, creative, with an emotional touch. That was the plan, how we could, the Tibetan drum model, put that in a website, which was interactive, which was flashy, which was a little humor in it, a little creation in it, but also thinking and giving services with our heart. Well, nice idea, you would say. But in our organization website, our department, that is business of IT. Another point was videos, that is the business of multimedia. Money, budget, for what? For that what is not your core business. And then I admit here I got naughty. Because I had that model in my mind. I want flashy things, I want interactive things, I want a website. And then I started with a group of volunteers in my department. I said, well, we do it our own way. When it's not possible that we cooperate, we do then and show them what we want and how we want it. And the result, the first result, was a website like this. Color, it had motion in it. And when you click on it, there came some videos which we made in an illegal way. We did it in the free time and the weekends with friends who had a camera. And we tried to upload those little movies, all trying in the idea what we had. It had to be flashy, it had to be interactive and short and rapid. Yeah, that is also a word. What is it? It has to be fast, quick and fast. We tried to also to put all the things what we knew. We tried to put that together in a very easy, simple way, like a little drawing or a little picture says more 1,000 words. My point was, don't say it with words. Try to say it in images, in movies, that kind of stuff. And from my experience, I know it doesn't have to be expensive because, like for instance, this is a movie about a person. You see him also here. A person who was one of our students who was specialized in speed reading. And I met him during a meeting in the study center. And we asked him, well, can we video you? He was fancy about it. He wanted to do that. And so we got our movie with Mark Tichelaar about speed reading. So not professional actors, but students, workers at our university, friends in our network. That's the way you do it. And that's fun, even in the weekends. What we also did is we tried to do not only online, but we had our study centers in the Netherlands on several places. And in those study centers, we organized workshops so that also the live workshops were possible. If people could see on the website all kinds of theory about like a subject as time management or memory training. They could read a lot about it on the website. And what they also could do is they could follow a workshop, a live workshop. And we tried to do that also with teachers or people who give trainers, who gave that training, who were not expensive. Because one thing what we learned is, okay, we give those workshops, and when in the beginning, we gave them sometimes for free. And then we noticed that, well, people are easy, it was for free, so they didn't have to come, or that kind. But when we noticed that when we asked a little price for it, then, well, let us say 90% of the students came to that training when they subscribed it for it. Our own people in the Open University gave those workshops 2 times a year, variation on several places so that everybody could follow it. In our website, we had that system developed that you could subscribe for it. You could, you got then also all the administrative procedures of subscription papers, notes about it, bills about it. And you see also for the people in the study center, they see, okay, so many people subscribe it, so we have to arrange everything. That was a new thing at the Open University, what we developed in a simple way. As I said before, we had several programs around not really in a specific way how we would do it, but all what we did was the subject that they were developed in the first place about things what were important for our students. For instance, doing exams. That's a thing what every student wants to know. How do I do a multiple choice exam? And we had some questions about students, and we made a movie about that. And we gave them the information, not in words, but simple on a video. We had relaxing also. Before an exam, you can do, for instance, exercises to relax. We had also subjects like presenting or writing, and also study techniques like speed reading or mind mapping. All kind of seeking for information. That is for this instance, there was a person in a library who wants to tell us that information, the way how people seek for information, the way how you see in the academic world for information. And he did that in steps, what was easy to follow. And in 3 minutes or 4 minutes, student got the basic information about that. So it's not, let us say a real framework, but it's more from working from the needs from students. What do they need? What are the questions they have? What do they want to learn? What are the obstacles what they are confronting, and then work on it. And we try to find then a solution for those problems? Well, for instance, time management. Time management, I knew a person who was an expert on that whole framework of time management, Guido Thijs, and we asked him, can he give students support or answers to the questions what they have? And we had several questions, real questions what students have. From, for instance, I think I will quit the whole study because it is too difficult for me. Or I'm too old to study. I think I cannot follow it anymore. Or how do I do that with my time, with the kids, with my wife, with the whole family? Real questions what students have. And we asked Guido Thijs, what do you think from your profession? What do you think is important for students to do? And it's not a real video what students have to follow. They can look, what is the question? What is important for me? They click on that, and then you see the question, and Guido Thijs gives a short and brief answer to it. I explain this because this is a kind of working in our videos, what is similar for a lot of videos and what works really for a student. Because sometimes to look at a video for 15 minutes to get an answer in the 14th minute, that's boring for students. But if it is quick and adequate, you have a question, you see it, and you get immediately your answer. That's what we want. We want it, as I said in the beginning, we want it active and fast. It has to be fast. So that was a little about how we were working from the beginning. And then the Open University builds a new website. In 2016's plan came, and 2016 till this year, the OU was building a new website. And according to the rules, there is no need for a separate product what our website was. We had our own product, and we had made our own rules, and that was not possible anymore. We had to conform the rules of the website in general. We had to cooperate, and well, it was the end of the separate product. We had to put all the contents and the experience what we had in the framework of the new website. Well, that was not so easy because then we have to work with the structure of the new website. And you see here the new address for our study coach, the content what I showed you before. It's now in two big parts. Online, we have the study coach with the central information, for instance, a subject like dyslexia. Then you get some background information. We have a video impression. We have some video, we made a lot of videos and video impression that gives mostly answers to questions of our students, and some tips and study advices for the study process. We have a lot of subjects what we in this structure produce, like memory training, speed reading, and that kind of things. And also we have another part of the website that is the workshops live. The good thing what we developed in our website is a whole system of live workshops what we organized in our websites. We have them also, we could save that in the new website, and you see the date that a workshop is planned in a study center. We have workshops with subjects conform the needs of our students. We try really to find a solution in a live workshop with training persons who can fulfill and giving answers to needs of our students. To promote the workshops, we have teasers for video teasers again, and we give there the program and how to subscribe and prices of the workshops. Not expensive, it has to be very cheap. Mostly a workshop is between 25 and 35 euro or dollar. And we do it, the payment is also online, and the student gets the information at home. This is the look and feel of our new website. I'm not so fond of, I showed you that it is divided in two big parts, that we try to give our information. You have to scroll down. For the first part, the content of the study coach with several subjects. And that's not such a good part. We have to seek there for a better solution. But then we have to talk more in the organization how we can structure and give more formats. Well, that is some background information about several subjects what we have. And then we have the framework from workshops. That is the good part. That is still available. There are a lot of workshops now. And you see on which date and in which study center the workshop is. You see it immediately, the subject, and the same structure is followed by the organizers of this website, that we can use it like the old website we had. In one sentence you can see, okay, this workshop is on that date in that and that study center. Now, a new website, we try to build it in, and the whole website, the study coach what we developed, is simple and ongoing process. What we find out is that the separate webpage what we had developed, it shows that it helps students, and not only students but also parents who are working with their kids for their homework, like organizing a speech or do a multiple choice exam, that kind of things. We offer that, and we see that our students follow those workshops and also the information. Faculties, they now see more of the possibilities of the study coach. And what we see now is also an ongoing process from a separate website, a separate product. It's now getting involved in the website, in the general website of the Open University, but it's also getting involved in the general activities of our university. And the faculties, well, they see what the possibilities are for our students. And what they now try is, okay, when they have a good speaker or they have a good worker in their faculty, that maybe he can organize a visit to a company or a visit to an organization, or he wants to talk in a study center about a specific subject. And the good thing is of our website is that we still have a news bulletin, an email news bulletin, what we send weekly to our students, and in that news bulletin we tell what new things that we have developed in the website, and faculties can use that news bulletin also, and they are getting to get more used to it. The most important thing is still that we try to work from the needs from students. What do they need, and what can we give as solutions? Well, and for the future, it's for us that we want to do more in the new methods, like developing MOOCs and webinars, also in the general study methods and advices. Well, that is a little talk about our website, the study coach. It was also the question what they asked me to tell you about. It's not a very, let us say, professional website. It's more from the needs from students, trying to give solutions and answers. And when I look at the results, what we have with our website, that when we started it a couple of years ago, that we didn't promote it, we didn't have a campaign about it, because we had, in a certain way, an illegal website. We developed an illegal thing, that nowadays around 6,000-7,000 students every month click on this site and look at it. And the average time when they look at it, that's extremely long. It's about 4 to 5 minutes, but they stay on this website. And that is, for what we know, probably because they look at a little movie, they look at the little information what we have, and they stay on it and they see more. And that's the good thing about it. What we hear is, and what students tell us is that they use it, they know how to find it, and they know that there is more if they need it on a specific part of their study process. Working for the exams, they use the relaxing modules. Working for information like making a thesis or something, they use how to find the right information, that kind of stuff. And that is what we planned with a simple model in our head, the Tibetan drum. Okay, that was my little telling about the website Study Coach.
Well, that was our last video. It was a quite interesting video. I really thank Marion for having recorded it, because she was supposed to be here with us today, but it was an unexpected personal thing that happened and she couldn't. So I really thank her, because well, Lizzie Collins helped me to get in contact with her, because I found this interesting project, and I really love this idea of coaching the students and being very much focused on our students' needs. So after that, after finishing, just to summarize a little bit, we have seen a lot of actions we can do, support actions for prospective and new students in our distance education institutions. Some of them are related to this orientation, like orientation web, so online self-diagnosis, online guided procedures, induction packs. Some of them are related to training our students, like workshops and seminars, formal or informal online training, previous registration even, or at the beginning of a course, initial online models, or web pages such as this wonderful web page we've just seen with Marion Stevens. And finally, this idea of developing very, very good networks with asynchronous and synchronous spaces for communicating with our students, with synchronous online help, like help desk, like desks, or peer-to-peer mentoring facilities and possibilities that our colleagues from UNED, from the University of Portugal, will explain us in their video. And even social networks. We also do great use now of our Facebook and Twitter accounts in the university. So, I mean, a whole kind of things and possibilities to get our students involved. And at the end, what we all want to do is this of making well, impossible possible. So, what we would like to promote is to have our students prepared for studying at distance and studying in our own institutions, and to promote their success by giving them a support of great quality. So that's what we are working for. And well, I hope this all these presentations have give you many ideas on how we can work in and to develop new things and ideas for giving support to our